She couldn't hold back the tears. What Sun Yi-jin's mom did will leave you speechless. What could make one of Korea's most beloved actresses, Sun Yi-jin, break down in uncontrollable tears? Was it a secret, a betrayal, or perhaps an unexpected act of love? The answer will leave you absolutely stunned. This isn't just another celebrity story. It's a moment that shook even the strongest hearts. Let Red Carpet Revealed take you behind the scenes to uncover the full truth, right now. In the glimmering world of red carpets, designer gowns, and silver screen accolades, Sun Yi-jin has long stood as a pillar of elegance, strength, and composure. But behind the poise lies a woman, a daughter, a mother, a soul quietly wrestling with the weight of time and memory. And in one deeply personal, unexpected moment, everything shattered. A single sentence from her mother, a truth buried for decades, broke through Sun Yi-jin's emotional armor and left her in tears. What happened in that quiet room between 3 generations will leave you breathless. An ordinary day, or so she thought. It began like any other peaceful evening. Sun Yi-jin, recently stepping into the beautiful chaos of motherhood, sat in her sun-drenched living room, cradling her baby son, Alkong. The light danced gently on the walls, a calm lullaby of sunset shadows. Across from her, her mother watched silently, sipping tea, her gaze lingering not on the infant, but on her daughter. To an outsider, it was a serene, almost picturesque scene, but just beneath the surface, emotions were beginning to stir. The silence that spoke louder than words. Sun Yi-jin rocked her son gently, her mind drifting between the past and present. Then her mother, without warning, broke the silence with a voice so soft it barely rose above a whisper. You were like this once, so small, so delicate, and I almost didn't make it through. Yi-jin blinked, her breath caught. What did she just say? Those words hung in the air like shattered glass, sharp, dangerous, and impossible to ignore. The shocking truth unveiled. Her mother continued, her voice now steady, but thick with unspoken pain. There was a night I almost gave up. You were only 2 months old. I hadn't slept in days. Your father was working non-stop. I held you and cried, thinking I wasn't strong enough to be your mother. But then, you reached out, you touched my face and, you smiled. That tiny smile saved me. Sun Yi-jin felt her world tilt. This wasn't just a story. This was a confession. A piece of her mother's soul handed over with trembling honesty. She had never heard this before. No one had. She looked down at Alkong, his face serene in sleep. And suddenly, she understood. The desperation, the love, the unbearable beauty of being a mother. Her voice broke as she whispered, "Mom, why didn't you ever tell me this?" Her mother simply replied, "You had to become a mother to understand." A storm of emotion unleashed. It was then that the tears came, flooding. Unstoppable. Years of silence, misunderstandings, pride, pain, all collapsed under the weight of that moment. Yi-jin sobbed, clutching her mother's hand, the same hand that had once wiped away her childhood tears. The 2 women, once mother and child, now mother and mother, sat together in silence. Both crying, both healing. Her mother gently reached out, touched Alkong's forehead, and smiled, whispering, "He saved you, just like you saved me." A scene more powerful than any film. Sun Yi-jin, known for her ability to cry on cue on screen, found herself completely exposed, not acting, not performing, just feeling. And it was real. This wasn't a scripted drama. It was life, raw and aching, the kind of moment that reminds us why we love, why we endure, why we forgive. The cameras weren't rolling. The lights weren't perfect, but this was the performance of a lifetime. Delivered not for an audience, but for a heart that finally understood the meaning of legacy, sacrifice, and love. The day after, the next morning, Sun Yi-jin posted a simple message to her private journal, later leaked by a close source. There are no red carpets for motherhood. No awards. But today, I held my son, and my mother held me. And somehow, that was more than enough. Her fans were stunned. Many cried reading the post. Others, especially young mothers, flooded social media with their own stories, of exhaustion, of connection, of generational healing. For Sun Yi-jin, becoming a mother was not just a life milestone, it was a complete transformation. After years of building a career, a name, and a public persona, she was suddenly stripped of certainty, confidence, and control. In her own words shared with a close friend, Yi-jin once said, "I've memorized scripts in 3 languages. I've faced critics and pressure. But nothing prepared me for this. The sleepless nights, the constant self-doubt, the fear of doing something wrong, the overwhelming love that somehow felt crushing. She had waited for this joy. But why did it also feel so heavy? When perfection becomes a prison." As a public figure, Sun Yi-jin was expected to glow through motherhood. Fans looked for radiant baby bump photos, dreamy nursery reveals, and glowing postpartum updates. But reality was different. Behind the scenes, she battled waves of anxiety. Her mind, once razor-sharp for memorizing lines and hitting emotional beats on cue, now swirled with irrational fears. Was the baby breathing? Did I swaddle him too tightly? Was I a good mother, or just pretending to be one? She often caught herself staring at her reflection, not the actress, not the icon, but a tired woman with dark circles, messy hair, and silent questions swirling in her eyes. Am I enough? The ghosts of her own childhood. It was during one of these quiet breakdowns, cradling her baby boy in the early hours of dawn, that a memory surfaced, her own mother's distant gaze from decades ago. Yi-jin had always remembered her mother as strong, disciplined, quiet, but now, in her own exhaustion, she saw it differently. Maybe my mother was tired too, she whispered. Maybe she was scared, just like me. This realization hit her like a wave. All the unspoken words, the quiet judgments, the teenage distance, it all began to make sense. Had she misunderstood her mother all along? A moment of reconciliation. The breakthrough came not through a dramatic confrontation, but a soft conversation over tea. Her mother sat beside her, watching Alkong sleep, and said gently, "You're doing well, Yi-jin. You're stronger than you think." Yi-jin blinked back tears. For the first time in her life, she asked, "Did you ever feel like you weren't enough?" Her mother smiled, not with pity, but with understanding. "Every day, but you made me believe I could be better. And now he'll do the same for you." In that moment, something shifted. Years of emotional distance melted in the warmth of shared experience. The girl who once misunderstood her mother had now become her, and finally, she understood the weight of fame, the fragility of love. Despite the internal struggles, the world continued to expect the flawless version of Sun Yi-jin. Appearances, endorsements, interviews, it was all still there. But now, behind the scenes, she was rebuilding, not her career, but her identity. Being a mother didn't just change her schedule. It changed her core. She began to journal, to turn down events, to say no without guilt. Not out of weakness, but from a newfound strength, a strength born from vulnerability. From asking for help, from crying in the dark and still waking up the next morning. The question that remains, in the quiet hours, when the world is asleep and only the hum of the baby monitor fills the room, she still asks herself, am I enough? But the answer is no longer buried in doubt. It's whispered in the soft coo of her child, in the knowing smile of her mother, and in her own reflection, still tired, still unsure, but no longer afraid. A different kind of heroine. Sun Yi-jin may have portrayed countless strong women on screen, but this real-life journey of motherhood, fear, reconciliation, and rediscovery, is her most powerful role yet. And the world? It's finally starting to see the woman behind the actress. Not perfect, not polished, but real, and that, perhaps, is her most beautiful performance of all.